Hey guys, and welcome to game number 51 out of 100 of my Human vs. AI series, where I'm taking on the AI-powered Scrabble-bot BestBot in a 100-game match. We are currently sitting at 21 wins, 29 losses through the first half of the series. We finished off the first half with a good win in game 50, which was hopefully a positive sign going forward for the second half. But we will have to see. It's been a tumultuous first half of the series, to say the least. It started out quite poorly, then it got a little bit better, and then BestBot went on another streak. So it's been a roller coaster, but that is often what happens in this game. So, all right, we will see what happens here. BestBot starts with Mack for 14. I've got Annex plus an L and an S. No bingos here, I don't think, but not a terrible rack. I'm not thrilled about playing Annex over here for 27, just because it gives back a massive scoring spot on the 8 row, especially if the bot somehow has the Z. That could end up being disastrous and yielding 90 plus points. So I'm not too keen on that. The problem is my other options are just not great. I don't really want to just cash in my S with something like Sax here for 34. It keeps ELNN, which is also quite difficult to work with. Axeman is an option, but it also gives back a lot. It gives back another big Z spot here. Gives back Taxman, it gives back possible 6s on the H column, so this gives back quite a lot as well, and also doesn't keep a vowel. So I think what I might want to do is play Lax, kind of splitting the difference. Like, yeah, it keeps 2 N's still, which is not ideal, but at least it keeps the S as well for Mox. It also just doesn't give all that much back. There are 2 Fs unseen for Flax, but besides that, it just doesn't give back all that many big scoring plays to the bot. Could overlap with Oxo or Oxy, perhaps, but it also keeps the Mox hook open, which is nice, and it's hard to block because the C can't be overlapped in either direction, right? Because there are no 2 other words with a C. So I feel like I don't like this in the sense I don't want to keep 2 N's, but I feel like I prefer this to the other options, at least, that I've been able to see. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Donners? That's not a word, is it? No. I don't think so. Yeah, Donnert, D-O-N-N-E-R-T is a word, but not Donners. I have anything through this M-A, so I have Normand, but that's an adjective. It does not take an S. So this is not a word, I don't believe. Change 2 by the bot. Wow, okay. Interesting. Change 2. So the bot's clearly pretty close to a bingo. I could do this. I don't really want to do that, though, because if yeah, I have a good rack, but if the bot traded 2, the bot's also probably got a really good rack, and this gives back a double-double line. So I could actually trade 1 here and just trade an N. I could also underlap with Oxo. That's probably a little bit, more sensible. I can score pretty well there with something like Don and not really give anything back. Yeah, for 20 points, that's got to be worth it. ENRS is still a pretty good leave. Or even NOR is also fine, DENS. ENRS is probably slightly more likely to bingo, though. So yeah, I feel like Don seems pretty good. The nice thing about Don, too, actually, is that it sort of forces his bingos. I guess unless he has an S for Mox. But if he doesn't have an S, it really forces his bingos to go somewhere that would open a triple-triple. Because where can he bingo here, aside from Mox? He can bingo here, hooking Don with something like Donna or Dun. That puts a tile in the 15th row. He can bingo under the N in Don. Oxo doesn't take an S, so he'd have to bingo here. That puts a tile in the O column. Or he could bingo on the 11th row, hooking Maid. But that puts a tile in the A column. So a lot of his bingos after Don, obviously unless he has the S for Mox, are going to have to open a triple-triple, which is good given how strong my leave is. So I think I like this. Yeah, I don't think trading 1 is necessary when I have a 20-point play that still keeps a pretty good leave. So let's go ahead and play it. Beaners. Not a word, unfortunately. A lot of 8s I could get. Absenter. All right, that'll work. 90 points. So that worked out pretty well. Still have a nice lead here of 52 points. Yeah, I figured the bot was going to bingo, but I was kind of banking on bingoing back. And the bot bingos again with intervals. So the bot takes the lead, but not a big one. It is my turn. I have intervail. How does it work? So I could play Fleer for 36. That looks pretty good. Saving APT, which is certainly not a bad leave. I'm not worried about intervals. I mean, what's the bot going to do there? I'm not... Like, this is something I see a lot, guys. Sometimes people will be terrified of stopping a word one before a double word score. And sometimes it is scary, right? Like, if it stops one before a double word score that's in a double-double line and someone could get a 7 ending in an S for over 100 points, then yes, you are correct to be scared. But here, like, what's the bot going to do? If it plays as for 28 points or something, like, so what? If it wants to use an S for 28, that's fine. 28 is, like, an average score anyway, probably on this board, or maybe even less than that. So... Like, and there's just not much more that the bot can really do. There's no overlap potential beyond a 2 or maybe a 3. Like, yeah, I guess Ash could happen for 40, but it's just not anything to be scared of. The worst case scenario is just not really that bad at all. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Do I have anything through this R and this E? I guess I have Farl, but that's just way worse. Don't think I have anything that doubles the F or the P. I have, you know, I could also play Pelf. Yeah, that's not bad either. 34, so it's 2 fewer points. It keeps AET, which is more likely to bingo for sure than APT. But it does give back more with that P. I think I like Fleer better. It's 2 more points. It doesn't give back that P. And this is still a pretty good leave. And the P is nice for scoring too if I don't bingo. And it's not the best board for bingoing. So I think I prefer this. Pelf is not bad. Oh, you know what though? See, I almost forgot about it. I have the F for Flax. That is relevant. I don't know what I'm going to do there, though. Like, Flap is just a worse play, right? I mean, it's 32 points. It's fewer points than Fleer and fewer points than Pelf, and the leave is worse because of the duplicate. So, I don't know what I can actually do there. Fed is just too big a point sacrifice. And I don't think it's worth, like, holding on to the F. I just need to sacrifice so many points. It's not worth doing something like this, right? I'm giving up 10 points, and it's like, unless I get a bingo with the F, which is not that likely. The F is not a good bingo tile. It's sort of like, it's not that dangerous a spot other than for bingos, because what am I going to do? Play something for 32? It's just not a big deal. So yeah, it can be kind of an illusion, again, like thinking, oh, I have the F, and the F is the only tile that goes in front of Lax. Like, yeah, it's not bad, but unless you bingo, you're not going to, you know, do anything that notable there unless you bingo, and you're still just not that likely to bingo with an F. So let's go ahead and do this, and it worked out. I drew Adapter and Readapt, and, well, Adapter at the minimum is going to play under the N and Dawn. Is anything else going to play? Obviously, I'd much prefer not to do this, put an R in the triple line with 2 blanks unseen. That being said, if it's my only bingo, then it's my only bingo, and I don't have much of a choice. Let's see, does anything play on the second row above Intervale? No, I don't think so. Can't hook Mad with an E, because yeah, Adapt or Readapt are the 2 sevens. There's nothing from a U or a G. So yeah, let's just play Adapter. The bot did just play Fugu, so it very well could have had a bad rack, and we just need to hope that it doesn't triple. And that was a little bit of an ominous draw. Still 2 blanks left, and now I have both the J and the Z. As long as I can dodge triple for 1 turn, it should be okay. Definitely a little nervous though, especially a couple games ago it was the bot opened a triple, putting an I in a triple line. There were 2 blanks and I had like 6 vowels. I literally just couldn't do anything there. And then the bot tripled and ended up winning the game by like 200. So definitely still feeling a little bit sore after that, but hopefully the bot doesn't triple. If the R somehow stays open, then I'll get Gauzier for 51 points. That would be really, really nice to burn through some tiles as well and score. I have other options too. I can play Juga for 30. Well, you know what? I don't want to play Juga for 30. That takes an A for a Juga, so definitely not going to want to do that. But I can still play Gauze or something over here. I'd prefer to hold the Z over the J, but I definitely don't want to give back a massive hook like that. That's like the thing too with this kind of hook, guys, is it is almost impossible to block if I don't have an A myself, because yeah, I can underlap the J, but if I play something under this J, I'm just going to be giving back even more to the bot, most likely it plays down the A column here, or underlaps on the A row, so it's really, really tough to block, which is not a position you want to put yourself in, especially when you have a lead, creating an unblockable hook, or very difficult to block hook. That would score a lot of points. Obviously, if he gets a bingo or otherwise play on the triple with a Juga, it's going to score quite a lot. So, yeah, Don't want to do that. Gauze under Mad seems good. And the bot is taking some time here. So that's making me think it probably doesn't have a triple-triple. And, so it sort of blocks. Because it plays wall, but there is still a threat here, guys. You have to be really careful of these non-bingo triple-triple threats, or even a 9-letter bingo on a triple-triple. So, And what can I really do there? That's the problem. Not much. I mean, I can play Jag. Keeps a pretty clunky leave. I mean, does this entirely block it? Can he still get something through this GOR? There's probably something he can still get. It's definitely harder than with an OR, though. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I just don't have much at all that I can really do here. I don't think I have anything that goes through the OR and gets to the triple. Certainly not with either of my 2 high point tiles. I feel like I should just leave it alone, probably. It's a close enough game that I don't want to start sacrificing huge amounts of points when the bot can just bingo elsewhere and still come back. If I were up 100, I would almost certainly play something like Jag and make more of an effort to block, but I'm not up that much. This could end very badly, but I feel like I'm better off just playing Gauze over here and hoping that the bot didn't hit something. And if it's a non-bingo, it'll probably score like 100. It'll tie the game. It's not like the bot's just going to win on the spot. So I feel like that's probably fine. But I don't know. I mean, it is with 2 blanks left. It is pretty scary. So like I said, even if it's not a bingo, a triple-triple that's not a bingo is still going to score like 100 plus points. The bot would easily burn a blank to do it. I mean, the thing is, though, it's actually, with OR there, especially, there's no L's. Like, there's a lot of words that would go blank LOR, I feel like. Like florists and things like that. I mean, there's still, like, storable. But yeah, like, storable, that even has an L. Storages. I mean, there are words, for sure, especially with 2 blanks, that could come down. But I just don't think it's that big a risk. I'm going to play Gauze, and if the bot has it, the bot has it. Alright, so this is a pretty good draw here, because I've got a lot of scoring potential. I mean, I can play Zhao for 39, keeping a very good leave. I can play Chow in the same spot. Probably at this point, though, I will want to play Cord or something like that through this OR. Yeah, because Cord also would save Zhao for next turn. So this looks like a really good play if it were to stay open. But we'll see. So yeah, I've got options. Zhao, Cord, anything through this RE, that's a spot that we'll want to keep an eye on. Because it certainly is not that hard to hit, especially with a D for ED. I don't see anything right now, though, that I could have there. So yeah, probably still looking at Zhao if the bot plays on the right, or Cord if it doesn't. Obviously, it could also blow something open on the left that I need to deal with. So we'll just have to see what it comes up with here. But I have to imagine that, especially after a play like WO, the bot is reasonably likely to have a blank, or at least a pretty good rack. So if it has a blank and it can't do much now, it's probably going to try to be really aggressive, given it's at a deficit. So I'm up a lot, which is obviously a good thing. I'd rather be up 79 than down 79, but on this board with 2 blanks unseen, it's certainly not that secure. And that's a play I'm actually very happy to see, because now I don't have to worry about that spot anymore. And it scored 42 points, which is a bit, but it's not a huge amount. So I think I'll still just play Zhao. I'm obviously a little worried, though, because there are certainly plenty of overlaps that are going to score a lot under it. Hooking Aw or Awa and Go. So I'm not actually all that thrilled about playing there. But I just don't know what else I'm going to really do. Like, it seems so much better than my other options. And it's worth mentioning, Chow doesn't solve that problem at all, right? Because the bot can still just underlap in the same spot. I don't think it's worth it to play Jaw. It's just too big a point sacrifice. 13 fewer points. I think I want to get rid of this J. It's not the best tile on the board, and I've already had it for a couple of turns. There's nothing through this RE and Intervale, like I said before, I don't think. At least nothing that's reasonable enough to play. See, I feel like Zhao is... Unless there's something else through this A? I don't think so. Oh! Wait, there is something through this A. Yeah, that's gotta be worth it. I mean, it does take a back I. But, I mean, it's 48 points. And it doesn't allow the same overlap kind of issues. So yeah, that's gotta be better. Oh, I drew a blank. I have Ice Swarm. So Ice Swarm is coming down here, ending the game on the spot if it stays open. I mean, pretty much ending the game on the spot. It's 84 points. It'd be up 150. So we'll see what happens. Do I have anything else? Chow Time. Almost. That would be pretty cool. Unfortunately, it makes WWO, which is, of course, not a word. Anything through the P? Probably not. That's a lot of consonants. Yeah, Ice Swarm would be very, very nice to get down, like I said. If not, I have Emoji for 42 as a backup. So, a very good try here. I'm feeling quite confident about my chances of winning this game at this point, especially if Ice Swarm stays open, but even if it doesn't. But we'll see. I've seen the bot really make me sweat sometimes, even when I'm up over 100 points and feeling really confident. So I'm sure the bot is not going to go down without a fight. And, I mean, there's still a blank, an S, a Q. There's a lot of stuff unseen that could pose problems. I'm wondering, instead of Emoji, if Ice Swarm gets blocked, do I have anything under Adapter? Because it might be better to play there just to keep things tighter and also shed some more consonants. Like Meow? I don't think that works. I guess I have Owie or something. It's not terrible either. 32 points. It blocks a little bit better than Emoji. So if the Ice Swarm spot is taken away, I may want to play there instead. But we'll have to see. Bot is thinking for a little while here. So it's probably either really close to a bingo and it's trying to decide whether to fish or score. And alright, Rigger comes down. So Ice Swarm does not fit anymore. Probably Crow is going to be best here. That's got to be better than Emoji. Yeah, CW is just, it's also a little bit consonant heavy to pull 16 consonants, 10 vowels. So I'm not dying to not only float an E, but also leave 2 clunky consonants with no vowels. So I think Crow has to be right. W is not very easy to bingo from. I keep EIM blank, which is just an amazing leave with this pool. Ice Swarm is, I'm pretty sure, the only 7, and it doesn't play now, which is too bad. It would have been a pretty stylish one to get down. But yeah, that looks pretty good. And I drew the Q, which is obviously not great, but I'll be able to get rid of it. I mean, I can drop it here for 21. I can drop it up here for 24. So I knew that it was a possibility, but I also knew that the Q was not a absolute disaster if it were to appear on my rack. Possibly I might be able to play Niqab somewhere too. If an A gets opened, I'm up a lot. I'm up 88, so I should, even with the Q on my rack, given I'll be able to get rid of it, be able to withstand a bingo. Definitely I'll play QI here if it stays open. Just that way I don't allow plays through that J. I mean, there's not much you could even have through that J, though, to be honest. So maybe I don't even need to worry about that. I guess Kanji is still there. So it's worth blocking that, just because plays through the J are going to score a lot, and not only that, they're also going to open some lines on the left, so QI is probably going to come down for me if it stays open, but if the bot does go in that spot, I'll just play above interval and be perfectly happy as well. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, though, still, I'm feeling pretty confident, but this game is not over because there's still a blank, there's some scoring tiles, there's a K, an F, 2 Ys, a P. So the bot could easily still, you know, get some sort of freak bingo from this W for like 100 points. It's certainly possible. Not likely, but it's possible. So I need to definitely be on alert until I get another bingo down or just put this game out of reach. One nice thing, too, is I have Berm over here for 36. So I could actually consider even doing this and holding the Q for next turn. But I'd probably rather just get rid of the Q while I can and play that on my next turn. But it's nice that I can play QI, and if I don't manage to get a bingo on my next turn, have that as a backup. That's certainly a good position to be in. And the bot is still thinking. Wow. So, interesting. I wonder... I mean, obviously the bot didn't have the blank last turn because it played Rigger. It could have just played Riggers if it had the blank. But it drew 6 tiles, so it very well could have the blank now. What can I infer by the fact that the bot is thinking for a while, if anything? Like, it could have a blank, or it could have the blank and it could have a bingo here, but that bingo maybe only scores like 65, 70 points, and it's thinking maybe it doesn't even want a bingo and it wants to try for something more. It could have a mediocre rack and be trying to think about whether it wants to fish or try to score points and how to open the board. So, I don't know, there's like enough kind of racks you could have with that. Like, you could have a really good bingo rack, you could have TTTYY, you could have garbage. Overall, it's a pretty good pool. So it's more likely than not that the bot has at least a decent rack. But I would imagine, I mean, the bot's almost close to its 3-minute max, and I believe the bot is still programmed to always move within 3 minutes no matter what. So I expect we'll be seeing a move from the bot very soon, and we do. Parker for 51. Why did that take so long? Huh. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's interesting, guys, because why did it take 50 or so long to play a 51-point Parker? Seems like a pretty obvious play. Like, that definitely reeks of blank to me, because if you didn't have the blank, then that just has to be best by a mile. Like, I feel like it had the blank and it had some bingo for like 80, and it decided not to play it. To me, that's the only logical explanation. I mean, I guess could it have had parked and it decided to play Parker instead of parked for some reason? It thought 3 minutes about that? Yeah, it's possible. But I don't know. I know if I were playing a human, I would think, okay, if they took that long to play Parker for 51, then they probably have the blank. So I think, though, that doesn't really change much for me. I think I'm still going to just play QI. I could run into issues if the bot bingos from this W. I just don't have a good way to block. That's the problem. Like, I don't want to sacrifice a huge number of points to block. There's still this P. It could even bingo with a double T play through adapter. Something like Dottiest could come down. I think if I just drop the Q, I mean, I'm still going to be up 60 points or so. Even if something big comes down from the W, I have the blank. I'm not in terrible shape. Like, I can score on row 14 with something like Sim burning the blank if I have to. And I like this better than QI here. I don't want to allow a big play with QIS also opening the board. And I like saving the I as well, just for balance. So let's just get rid of the Q here and see what happens. I drew the F. It's a little clunky. Definitely a little clunky. Certainly this W is going to be a bit concerning. There's a lot of good stuff left here. I mean, there's the blank, there's E's, A-D-E-I-N-S-T. All other than these Y's, everything in this pool is pretty much a good bingo tile. There are some duplicates, like the 3 T's and the 3 O's. So there's a lot to be worried about here still. And I need to decide probably on my next turn. Like, I think there getting rid of the Q was the priority, but like on my next turn, I'm going to need to probably, well, assuming the bot doesn't bingo, I'm going to need to make a commitment. Am I going to commit to trying to outrun the bot and just kind of try to score as many points as I can and figure that if it bingos, I'll have enough to still outscore it? Am I going to commit to that path, or am I going to try to block and commit to the path of blocking and figuring, okay, if the bot doesn't bingo, it can't win, I'm just going to try to block it as much as possible and figure that as long as I stop it from bingoing, then I should be fine. I don't know. Like I said, it's going to depend a lot on what the bot does. I mean, other than the bottom right corner of the board with the W and Crow and the P and T and adapter, there's not much in terms of bingo lines. There's the P and Parker, but it's pretty tough to bingo to a P. I mean, you could also bingo through the P with Enotrope or something. Bingos there are going to score very little unless he ends in the P. Like, interlap isn't even possible. It's going to be pretty hard with that pool for the bot to bingo to the P. Probably possible somehow, but it's going to be very, very difficult. A lot of words ending in type, though, are possible, like anti-type, linotype, things like that. Again, they wouldn't score that much. They'd be low 60s. There's also the scoring spot under the B and absenter with the Y for buy. So yeah, again, it's going to depend a lot on what the bot does here. I can score pretty well with just if. 29 points. I don't know what else I have for big scoring plays. It's not that easy for me to block this W. That's the problem. I mean, I can block it, but like even something like Mop doesn't really block it because he can still underlap. It's not that easy for me to block it effectively. Like, I'd almost need to use the blank. And the bot is taking a while here again, down to 8 minutes. Like, honestly, my best block, I was going to say something like Famine, but then there's 3 T's left. I'm still worried about stuff like Dottiest through that T and adapter. Like, is there a way I can really block everything? Teens comes down for 28. Okay. Huh. So I'm up 30, which is not a ton. I don't think I have much under teens. But now, see, now the thing is, the bot has blocked its lines on the right. So if I just block the W, I guess another question is, if I play for like 10 through this W and really just commit to blocking bingos, do I have to be worried about big plays with buy and then getting outrun? That is certainly something to consider. So I guess, yeah, if I play if, the problem is, if the bot bingos would say like windiest or woodiest or something, like what's the score going to be? So 29, I go up 59, woodiest would be like 86 or something like that. So I'd be down 27, he'd have 6 tiles, I'd have 7. It's very hard to know if I'd be able to win. I mean, probably, because I'd be able to do something on the bottom like Maneb, but I'm not sure, especially with the Ys. It's very dicey. It's impossible to know whether I'd be able to win. I mean, probably sometimes yes, sometimes no. It would be a very tough endgame. The thing is, just like, how am I blocking this W? I guess I could just do this, right? Well, then the bot could still bingo from this O, so that doesn't even work that effectively. It's so annoying. I don't want to burn my blank. I guess this, maybe. Yeah, this is probably what I would do if I went down there. I mean, I guess 9s can still happen. Like, 9s are definitely going to be a threat. Obviously, the bot's going to find them. Stuff ending in, like, weed. It's obviously a lot less likely. And it'll score less, too. Like, okay, yeah, because I feel like if I do this, maybe I should do... Should I do ME to save the F for if? No, I don't think so. The F is just too clunky. The M is just a much more flexible tile. I think if I do this, then yeah, even if the bot bingos with something like rosin weed through the WE, it'll score 63. Like, the bot will only be taking about an 18-point lead, and it'll empty the bag. I still feel that I'm going to win a decent number of endgames. And yeah, obviously stuff like through this P with type is a threat. But again, I'll still be up about 18. It's going to be hard for me, if not impossible, to reduce the bot's bingo percentage to 0 between the type threats on top and plays through the W. So I still think plays from the W, like woodiest, windiest, waypoint even, potentially. Like, there are threats there, and they're going to score by far the most, and they're the most likely on a percentage basis. So, like, yeah, I sacrificed 13 points, but if I force the bot to bingo for 63, either through the P or through the WE instead of 88 or something like that from the W, that's well worth the 13-point sacrifice of playing FE, or the 14-point sacrifice even, of playing FE over if. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, so yeah, I'm up 45 points. And we'll see what the bot does. Another nice thing about this is I figured, too, I save Sim here for my next turn, which is going to be 40 points. And that should help me outrun a bunch of bingos. And it turns out that actually Sim would save a very nice play of Bitten. So I think if the bot were to bingo through this P now, with something like Linotype or Anti-type, it should be a pretty routine win. And Tony comes down. Okay. Setting up Stony. Interesting. Very clever play by the bot. And is the bot threatening anything, though? Oh man, I have only 3 minutes to go through this, huh? Well, let's see. So, I mean, I can also just play Binnets, right? Like, if I just play Binnets, do I win? Because I need to be a little careful. It can play Soy for a lot under Rigor. But I score 32. If I'm going out no matter what next turn, like, I think this just wins. If there's some crazy 9 through the WE, then there's some crazy 9. Like, I don't think so. It's not a great pool. Well, maybe through this PE. I mean, there's probably something that the bot could have on the A column, I would imagine. I don't know. I don't honestly see it off the top of my head. But I feel like there's probably something. Anyway, though, okay, so if I play this 32, I go 42. I have to imagine him going out no matter what I pull. I mean, maybe if I draw the D, I mean, I might only have one out if I draw the D. I might only have, like, mid up here. But then, if the bot doesn't play soy immediately, I can just drop the M here and block it. So I should still be winning pretty easily, I would imagine. And soy is not enough, right? So, I mean, how many points is that? 27, 30, 48. It's a bit. It's 48, but that would only put the bot up 6. So as long as I go out, I win. Yeah, D goes out, A obviously goes out, I obviously goes out. How about the Y? Well, then if I get the Y, then it wouldn't have soy. Oh, I have Jim. Okay, yeah, so the Y is fine. Yeah, I mean, and Yam as well through this. Oh, so I think, yeah, the D is the one draw I'm a little concerned about because I don't know if I have 2 outs. Well, I have mid and mod. It's just very annoying for the bot to block both. And then I'm just going to be able to play OM and win. Yeah, this should win, guys. I mean, unless I'm missing something, like some sort of crazy bingo, I feel like this should just win. Is there like some sort of ridiculous overlap through this T? Like, I don't even know what almost like Adonis or something. Like Adonitis would fit if there were an E. Like ADENITIS. I don't think there's anything. I'm doing it. Alright, I drew the blank. Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that'll work. So soy comes down. The bot takes a lead, but it's going to be short-lived. Got 30 seconds or so to find my best out. Obviously, I'm winning this game. What do I want to do? Just OM here? Is that really best for 14? Feels like I should have something better, but maybe not. It's more here, right? No, it's also 14. So I think 14 is going to be my best out here, unless I am missing something. So, all right, let's just go out for 14, not flag, and wow, great game. 456 to 438. Great way to kick off the second half of this series. Very stressful game, especially towards the end. Like, I had a lead, but the bot certainly did not make holding onto it routine in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, there's definitely some stuff at the end of the game we'll want to look at, but let's go back to the beginning here. So the bot starts with Mack, which seems right. I mean, you could play Logic. It's a little better on equity, but not much. Mack still sets up the S nicely, just gives back so much less. Yeah, on this play, again, I saw Annex, but there's no way I'm giving back that massive spot on the 8 row if I don't absolutely have to. Bot trades 2 here, totally makes sense. You could play Lulu for 6, but you open a lot more. The L really helps your bingo percentage, so I totally like trading 2. Yeah, I think Don is fine. I could trade 1 back, but 20 points. I still keep E and RS. That's definitely worth it. And then bingo, bingo, bingo. Pelf is a little higher on equity just because, like I said, AET bingo is so much more often, but I don't mind keeping the P here. It's not a great board for bingoing. The P's a nice, flexible tile. It can certainly bingo. It's a good scoring tile as well. And I don't give it back to work with in the A column, so I think that's fine. Bot draws terribly, has to play Fugu, and then... So the bot, wow, didn't have a blank here. Interesting. I thought for a while. Yeah, oversaw is 42. I honestly might have gone for this, just because you turn over so many tiles for those blanks. And you create 2 spots, too, right? Like, yeah, you open this W, but you also open a line for 7s on the O column. So the logic would be if I use one, the bot could still use the other. I don't know. I would have found Oversaw pretty tough to pass up here for that many points. I guess the S, you do still have Mads. NA doesn't take an S, but Mad does. So I guess the S does still have some value, and you kind of create this sneaky non-bingo triple-triple opening, which is going to stay there possibly for quite some time. So let's see. At this turn, I just didn't have... I didn't want to play Jag over there and sacrifice tons of equity. Like I said, I can't play Juga because of the A-hook. Jug, I guess, is playable, but... I think I'm better off just turning over more tiles. Oh, upgaze I didn't see. It's 1 more point. But obviously, especially, I inferred a pretty strong leave after, well, probably stronger than the bot actually had. So definitely not going to risk that for just 1 point. I think Gauze is fine. And then, so interesting play here by the bot guys, right? Playing the S for just 6 more points, which I didn't really process this in the game so much, but I think it's a good play by the bot. I recognize that the 6 points are more important than the S here. Why? Well, number one, there are two blanks left, and every tile you play is another shot at those blanks, which are going to be vital for making a comeback. So playing the S gives you another shot at the blanks. Number two, it's still 6 points, and you're down a lot. Those 6 points could be very helpful. And number three, the S is just not that good on this board, because now that I played Gauze, the Mads hook is gone. There's just no hooks for this S. Like, if you get a 7-letter word ending in S, good luck playing it on this board anyway. So, smart play by the bot there, getting rid of the S. And Zhao was actually better equity, amazingly, just because Cow was a pretty clunky leave. But this is definitely better not to give back those easy overlaps, I have to imagine. Then, yeah, Rigger comes down, blocking Ice Worm. Crow looks pretty good. Wow, so the bot didn't have the blank. So what? Why did it take so long to play Parker? I mean, this looks so obvious. Like, how can this... I mean, I guess this still leaves the W partially open, but why wouldn't you want those 13 points? This is a terrible play. Yeah, I mean, was it thinking about kept, maybe? You try to open more? Like, this I could actually maybe see? Maybe? Just because after Parker, you are still in a tough spot. You're still down a bit, and you're running out of lines if I block the bottom right. Kept sort of forces me to think a little bit more. With 2 blanks left, I might end up blocking the K, and you can bingo from the W. Yeah, this, I don't know for sure, but this, I'm guessing, is what the bot was thinking about. Because this just doesn't, these just don't make sense to me. So I'm guessing the bot was debating between Kept and Parker, and it went with Parker in the end. I dropped the Q, and yeah, Teens looks good. Terrible draw for the bot here. Too many vowels. It's got to score some points, and it does just that. Yeah, this turn was really interesting for me. I'm okay with what I did. Yeah, I thought about if just going full outrunning mode, but I was a little bit worried, especially with plays under the beaten absenter, that the bot could score there and then still create some problems threatening stuff from the W and through the P. So I figured I kind of did a hybrid of both, outrunning and blocking. Like, I figured I block a lot of bingos through the W, and I try to, if the bot's going to bingo, I try to force it to bingo in a spot that's not going to score as much, either through the P with a word ending in type, or through the WE for a 9 ending in, like, weed or something. And yeah, here the bot recognizes that if it just plays even oi or soy here, like, yeah, this is a really nice leave, but why are you bingoing on this board? I mean, unless you draw, like, both blanks for some crazy 9, like, I guess Sweetings or something like that through this WE, you're probably not bingoing. So, definitely makes sense. I mean, there's 2 blanks left. If you draw one of those blanks, you could easily have something with Tony here. And I think Bennett should win 100%. I'm just going to check, and let's see. Was there a 7 that the bot could have had with the Tony hook? Because I didn't see one off the top of my head, but, yeah, there is one. Woodsia, W-O-O-D-S-I-A, with a blank W. So, I did indeed need to block that. I didn't have time with the blank there to completely process everything. Woodsia is pretty tricky to see with the blank W. I did actually see Daimyos, D-A-I-M-Y-O-S, but that would not have fit because it would have gone off the board. So, yeah, that would have played anything through the P, Sympodia, Isopodin, Dystopia, Apodosis. None of those would have played. How about the W-E? No 9s. P-E, I highly doubt it. No, there's also no 9. So, alright, I think Bennett should win 100%. Like I said, blocks all the bingos. Even if I drew the D, the bot just wouldn't have had a good way to block both of my outs, and then I could have just played OM. So, yeah, that was a good play by me. I think Bennett's just, recognizing that there could have been a bingo there, which I missed, which there indeed was, and blocking. Of course, I drew the blank, so everything just kind of became moot. And yeah, what a game. A really, really intense one. I feel like I played really well overall. No clear mistakes. Probably FE was the most interesting turn of the game, I feel like. I kind of had to commit there. Either I'm going to block or I'm just going to go full out running mode. And I do think, like I said, kind of doing a little bit of both and blocking while also trying to force bingos to score fewer so I could outrun made the most sense. And it certainly worked out well, but the bot did a great job at staying in that game through some tough draws and really forcing me to work for it and earn this win. So, yeah, great game. Hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe learned a little something from it. And great way, like I said, to start off the second half of this wonderful series that we have been playing now for several months. So 22 and 29 is the record once again through 51 games. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you soon for game number 52. Have a good one. Bye-bye.